Hello everyone and welcome back to Exam Ignite YouTube channel. This video is 5th semester's Research Methodology and IPR subject of code BRMK557. This is common to all the branches and we will be starting now with the Module 2. Module 2 Part 1 video. This notes is prepared based on the video syllabus along with the repeated questions that are collected from the model question paper 1 and 2 and also the previous year question papers of December, Jan 25-24 and June, July 25-24. So all the important and repeated questions are arranged very systematically. So if you study this module properly, it is sufficient to answer all the questions and you can score 20 on 20 in this module. So let's get started. So in the first part of the video, I'm starting with the literature review and technical reading. Here I'll be giving you the importance of technical reading and then goals of the literature review. Then the main important question, that is new and existing knowledge. So this has been asked in 4 papers, and then analysis and synthesis of the prior or bibliographic databases. Then comes Web of Science and Google Scholar. They have asked about the search operators in 2 papers, and the effective search, you have to write about the effective search, that is asked in model question paper 1, and about the technical reading in the December Jan 25. Then critical and creative reading, that has been asked in model question paper 2 and June July 2025 paper. And then some other things are taking notes while reading mathematics and algorithms, and reading a data sheet. So we will cover this part in the part 1, and in the part 2 we will go to the attributes and citations. So here firstly, how does the new and the existing knowledge contribute to the research process? Firstly, this is a very important question. You can expect this in the exam. So first you have to write what is the role of knowledge in that. So the primary goal of the literature review is what? To understand the content, ideas and the approaches in the existing literature. And then it also helps us to identify the research problem correctly. What is the main problem, and assess the methods used. It also helps us to ensure that research undertaken contributes something new and innovative. Next, relation between the new as well as the existing knowledge. In the new knowledge, it can be interpreted only within the context of the existing knowledge. New knowledge cannot exist without any foundation, the new thing that we are going to design. So that is what is already known. From that, you have to design a new one. Next is interpretation of the new knowledge. That depends upon the researcher's background as well as what perception he is having on that concept. And next, perception may vary in difference to excitement depending upon the prior knowledge. Next, what is the role of textbooks and research papers in this? Textbooks, these are generally for the old established knowledge. They are oldly established knowledge, and research papers, they contain newer research work. So reading the textbooks, this provides something background that is related to understand the research paper. And the research papers, they assume the readers already know a lot of things in that field. They assume that and prepare the paper. This is behind the new and existing knowledge. The new one is research paper and the existing is textbook. Next is contribution of literature review to the research. How it helps us to build on one another. It helps us one research item to build on the another research item. An effective review ensures a firm foundation. You get a very good foundation for the knowledge, and it also helps in the theoretical growth and opens a new avenues of work. Literature review is centered around the concepts and it is not related to author. It is about the concept. Then how the existing knowledge enables the new research. Then it summarizes what is already known. It first says. Then it identifies the key concepts and the parameters and relationship that is shown. The outcomes or the inconsistencies in already in the published work, so that the loophole areas where you can take your topic as research. It provides a compulsive reason for further research. What is the main reason that you can take from that paper? Then process of building the knowledge through literature survey. So we are having 2 main steps of process. First thing is you have to identify the major topics and subtopics or the concepts that is related to subject. Second thing is place the citations of the relevant sources under the correct concepts or category. For example, a comprehensive survey, you have to analyze and synthesize the achieved work methodologically. So here it provides a firm foundation. So first you will get to know what are things are being done in selecting the suitable research methodologies. Then it demonstrates that the proposed work will make a novel contribution, so that you can get this is also a kind of work. The flowchart, how it flows is existing knowledge. You will be referred to textbooks or established work. Then for what to know about the background and the foundation of the knowledge. Then understand the research papers to know the existing knowledge. Then interpretation of the new knowledge. From that you have to interpret what can be advanced in that technology. Then you have to go through the literature review process, the process that I said. Then you have to identification of gaps, that is where the actual loophole is in that paper, where I can contribute as a new novel and research in that field. So this is how you have to write the answer for the new and existing knowledge. Next is the what are the primary goals of conducting a literature review in academic research. While doing the projects related to some topic, firstly you have to do the literature. Why is that important? The primary goal is to understand the use of content and ideas and approach in the existing literature, to correctly identify the research problem, to note down what is actual problem is, to ensure that the proposed research contributes something new, that is not repeated again, it is a new and it is innovative. First is problem identification. It helps us to identify the problem. Next is approach selection. A correct approach adopted to understand the identified research problem. Next is method of choice, where it enables you to assess which method you have to select and is used in the earlier research work. Then state of art, that is it is already known and you have to choose in that research field. Next is concept understanding. It details the key concepts and the main factors or parameters or the relationship between them. Existing approaches. So in the literature survey, it shows you the complementary existing approaches that is relevant to your research topic. Identify the gaps to know the inconsistencies or the shortcomings. You need to do that. Next is research justification, to provide a compelling reason to carry out the further research in that field that yours is a good one. You need this. Next, knowledge advancement. So obviously you are doing an effective literature survey means there should be a firm foundation for advancing technologies and facilitate the theoretical growth. Finally, there should be a contribution to the society related to your field of research. Next is what are the key features of the bibliographic database of Web of Science and how is commonly used in the research. This is the model question paper 2 question, and mention the various benefits of bibliographic database. This is asked in the last year December-Jan 2025 paper. So firstly, what is bibliographic database? It is an organized collection of references to be published in the digital literature. It includes journals, conference proceedings, books, reports, patents, standards, and the periodicals. So these databases are rich subject descriptions such as keywords and subject terms. What is Web of Science? It is a popular bibliographic database that is known as ISI. This includes multiple databases and specialized research tools. So it is licensed scholarly search tools and requires institutional access. This Web of Science. Next comes the key features. What are the key features? Is searching scholarly literature by title, topic, author, address. It also provides options to sort the results by number of citations or publication date. You can filter it out. Such results can be broadened or narrowed using the built-in filtering fields. That is what I said, filter fields will be available. Based on that, you can do. Next is journal indexed in WOS is known as ISI journals. Then ISI refers to what? Institute for Scientific Information. So where it was which is developed as SCI, SSCI, AHCI. So what is the information provided by this WOS? It is title of paper you will get the authors, you will get the journal type, volume and issue number, then year of publication, abstract and keywords. So this information helps the researchers to decide whether the paper is worth acquiring fully. So from this only you can decide whether that is related to my field of research, whether it is worth of using that. Next, common uses of Web of Science in research. Where do they use? To identify the relevant scholarly literature in the chosen area, which is the relevant one. To identify the tracking citation counts, to identify the influential research. It also supports the systematic literature review in understanding the state of work. Next comes what is the benefit of this bibliographic database. One thing, it provides an organized and reliable access to the scholarly publications. It is easy to access. Efficient searching and filtering. Through the filtering techniques, you can get what is actually required to you. Then it also helps the researchers evaluate quality and relevance of sources. So based on that, you can get it. They support the analysis, comparison, and synthesis of the prior research. So based on referring the many papers, you can do the comparison. So this is how bibliographic database benefits us. So this is an important question. Do understand this very clearly and write as it is, as I have given. Next, how can researchers effectively use search engines to find the relevant literature in their field? So this is asked in the model question paper. Then identify how such operators are used to narrow the search results. So firstly, use of the search engines in research. So they locate the relevant scholarly information efficiently from large volumes of data. So the effective searching is essential. Why? Because reliable and useful literatures for the research work is needed. Next is search engines for research. We are having mainly the most famous and the popular one, that is Google Scholar. It allows searching only the scholarly publications. It provides access to articles, books, conference proceedings across many topics. Why does Google Scholar? This allows saving the citations and articles for the later reading. It also helps us to find the available information such as reports from the governments and organizations. Next is the limitations for the search engines. So search engines actually they act as a black box with no clear information on the source quality. So they do not provide you the actual thing of that the research paper they have done. Some results may appear scholarly, but they are not reliable. Search functionality and refinement options are limited in the search engines. Not all the publishers make their content available online. This is the major limitation of the search engine. Next, use of this to narrow down the results. So firstly, search operators helps us to find most relevant and precise results. So how or operator? Here, this broadens the search including the synonyms or the variants. Example, synchronous or asynchronous. You will get both of these words. Next is bracket or parenthesis. Parenthesis group or terms while combining with another concepts. Like example, if you give RAM, then it is synchronous or asynchronous it can be. Next, quotation mark. So it narrows the search by finding the exact phrase. If you provide like Texas Instruments, it exactly provides the words related to that. Site operator. This restricts the result to specific website or domain if you provide the site. Next is file type operator. Here it limits to only specific file format. If you provide file in PDF, PDF, then PPT, then in the PPT. So effective search strategy is you have to identify what type of information is required for you first. Then you have to note not all the information in the available online and some exist only in the print. So searching it in an iterative process involves experimenting with keywords, then evaluating the results, modifying the search. So you have to do trial and error method, reviewing the citations and references. So this is how you have to do repeatedly search in the process. So after searching, you must perform a critical and thorough reading of that, observe important points and summarize them, compare and contrast with the existing one with the innovative thing that you are thinking. Then literature survey, it should be continuous and in the cyclic process. Next is the explain the importance of literature survey and the technical reading. Identify the impact of technical reading and brief them out. This is asked in December 2025. Explain the key steps and consideration in the conceptualizing research. So let us see, these are the three different topics we'll be covering at a time. Importance is firstly, as I said, literature review. It is used to understand the content, ideas, and approach of the existing literature. It helps us to correctly identify the research problem, what to be done. Then importance is firstly, it advocates a specific approach. It provides us to go in a correct manner, understanding the problem. Next is assessment of the choice of method. It helps us to choose the method that the earlier researchers have taken. Then it helps us to ensure that we would contribute something new and innovative to the society. Next is explains how research item builds upon one another, how one builds the another and that builds another research item. Then it ensures a firm foundation that you will get a good knowledge and a theoretical growth. Then a good literature survey demonstrates the state of art is well understood, like how it has to be done. Next is technical reading and its impact. This one is an important question. Technical reading is a strategy that is used to obtain a large amount of information in short time. This involves reading textbooks, professional journals, and technical materials. So the goal is here what it is to understand the technical contribution made by the authors, what they have done technically, how this impact, what are the impacts of this. This helps the researchers to stay updated. As it is having large amount of information in short time, they read it. So they will be having a good technical knowledge. They get updated. It supports the efficient use of time. That is what you don't need to read, avoiding unnecessary reading. You can use read it in short period of time. It enables focusing learning by concentrating on important sections. Like they will mainly focus on the introduction part and in the result part. So that is how it can be a focused learning. Then it ensures a research relevance by aligning the reading material with the research goal. Then it helps to understand how paper furthers the state of art. That is how it is designed. Strategies for technical reading. One is selective reading. This helps to decide whether a paper is worth detailed reading. First, you have to read a selective reading. Skimming means what you have to read only title keyword, then go directly to abstract part, then jump it to the conclusion part, and also refer to the figures and tables. This is known as skimming. Next is in-depth reading. This means it focuses on introduction part, results, discussions that have been an experiment setup if required. Conceptualizing the research. Conceptualizing means it's a process of identifying the key concepts and providing a unified explanation. Concepts must be accepted by the research community and recognized as significant. Why this is important? Because this requires deep awareness of literature. The main objective is to have this, and the conceptualizing research is tough and it is most critical step, especially it is at the PhD level. So this requires an expert at the edge of knowledge. So process of identifying the key concepts and providing them the unified explanation is called conceptualization. Key elements in this conceptualization research is you have to bring together significant problem, what is the existing knowledge already that is there, then possible way to create a new knowledge, that is a new and an innovative one. The key steps and considerations is here you have to identify, review the literature, formulate the question, define the scope and the objective of this, choose correct. This is the flow how you have to do. Listen, this is first you will identify the problem, then you will do the review the literature, formulate the question that you will arise due to the review, then define the scope, that is what is your boundary, then choose the theoretical framework, what is the theory concepts behind that, select the research design, then you will define your variables and concepts that you are doing, select the sampling strategy, then you will choose the collection methods, then you will develop the plan to implement, then you will consider the ethical issues and create a timeline to complete that under the limitations, seek feedbacks and document conceptualization. This is the complete process. If they ask you to explain this, you take each of them and write 2-3 lines based on this subheadings. Next is explain the various steps that is involved in the critical and creative reading. Critical and creative reading, firstly, reading a research paper, it is a critical process, and readers should not assume that reported results are correct. Being suspicious and asking the appropriate questions is essential part of reading a research paper. So that is how critical is reading a paper. How is that? It involves questioning the correctness, logic, and relevance of the work. If you read something, you should not agree that everything is correct. You have to question yourself. It requires judgmental approach and boldness to make the judgment while reading. You have to think whether they have published the given paper that we are studying is correct or not. Critical reading is relatively easier than the creative reading. Actually, it is easy compared to the creative reading. Then what have steps that occurs in the critical reading is you will check whether the author has attempted to solve the right problem, whether he has chosen a right problem and the method that you are using is correct. If there is a simpler solution that has been designed compared to the others, then identify the limitations of the solution. What is the loopholes that occur in his? Then verify that is there any missing links, that is any arguments in the methodology part, is there any part that is missing? Then evaluate whether the assumptions are reasonable, what the assumptions he had made are correctly reasoned in the paper. Then check for the logic flow, whether everything goes in a correct order without detecting any flaws in reasoning. Then assess the relevance and importance of work. This is what the critical part. Now coming to the creative reading, this is about requires a positive and a active approach while reading. So this is actually harder compared to the critical one and goes beyond the finding mistake. So here you have to actively look for the other applications of ideas presented, and you have to search for the interesting generalizations of the work. Identify the extended work that authors may have missed, which part he has missed. Think about how the work can be expanded, how it can be improved, what are the innovations and the new things that can be done in that. Then difference in approach of both of them. In critical reading, it focuses on what finding mistakes and the weaknesses that has been occurred in the paper. But in the creative reading, you will find the new ideas and opportunities, completely positive side, that is completely negative part. This is how you have to differentiate both of them. Critical reading is nothing but questioning limitations and the logic. And creative reading is application, how you can extensions, then the new ideas, innovations that can be done. Next comes the another topic, that is the last part, taking notes while reading. Why that is important? One thing, reading is done to write the research paper effectively. So taking the notes, it forms a link between your reading and writing. This forms a main link. So notes are taken what you have after immediate reading. You have to write down what are the points that you have taken. It can be written in the margins or in the digital tool, anywhere. Important definitions and concepts should be noted. Explanations will be useful for later writing, should be highlighted, that important thing should be highlighted. Questions and criticisms must be written down. Then notes help in remembering the future content for the future references. So after reading, a short summary of paper must be written. And it helps, it also, the summary should be mentioned, the paper's contribution. So reading helps identify the new ideas in that paper. It shows the existing ideas that can be combined, and understanding improves the reading other papers in the same areas. Next, coming to the challenges do researchers commonly face when reading the mathematical content or the algorithms. When you're reading, if you're having these steps, what are the challenges? This was asked in the December-Jan 2024. So reading mathematics and algorithms and engineering research cannot avoid this. In an engineer, being in an engineering field, mathematical derivations and proofs are a part of our research work. So derivations and algorithms form mainly the heart of the technical paper. So then what are the challenges they face while reading this? Complexity of the derivation. Like the proofs are often complex and they are not easily understood. So skimming such type should be avoided, as it may lead to your misunderstanding if you don't know. The need of the meticulous reading. So proof proper understanding requires the meticulous reading of proofs and algorithms. Without careful reading, it is difficult to understand the problem that the author has attempted to solve. Next is difficulty in understanding the core contribution. So the technical contribution of the paper may not be understood properly. There may be a misinterpretation if you are not understand the research outcome. Then errors in the algorithm implementation, that is in the programming languages like C, C++, or Java may prone to some errors. So even when confident about the algorithm, there is a fair chance it may not work. Gap between the theory and practice. So algorithms appear correct in theory, may fail due to the implementation, and they need further validation through coding. So researchers may need to code algorithms quickly to verify the correctness. So this adds to the additional challenge of the time effort beyond the reading. So these are the major drawbacks. Coming to reading a data sheet. So this is the last part of this module 1 to module 2. The engineering in different fields need a technical documents. So researchers mainly need to read the data sheet to understand correctly. Example, using the electronic components. So when you are using it, you have to note down the specifications of the instrument that is being used. It is nothing but an instruction manual for that component. It explains how to use and what are the qualities or the specifications that it is having, designing the circuits using those components, and it also helps in debugging. And it is the first page usually that gives a summary of the components, everything. It includes features, basic specifications, a functional block diagram with the internal functions, a pinout diagram if you are using any ICs. Then it's clearly marked with the correct performance. Then also it shows the safe operating regions, the voltages that has to be used, truth tables for the input-output relations, timing diagrams, dimensions are mentioned. It helps in making the PCB layout. Then this careful reading helps in selecting the right part, and reading the datasheets properly can save the time in the research work so that you won't get trouble while you're doing. So this completes the module 2 part 1. So I have made the whole content in the form of a question bank so that the whole part module 2 part 1 concepts are covered in the format of questions, so marking the important which are required. I hope this is clear for you. So if the content is really helpful, please do like the video and subscribe to Exam Ignite YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Hello everyone and welcome back to Exam Ignite YouTube channel. This video is 5th semester's Research Methodology and IPR subject of code BRMK557. This is common to all the branches, and we will be starting now with the module 2. Module 2 part 1 video. This notes is prepared based on the video syllabus along with the repeated questions that are collected from the model question paper 1 and 2, and also the previous year question papers of December-Jan 25-24 and June-July 25-24. So all the important and repeated questions are arranged very systematically. So if you study this module properly, it is sufficient to answer all the questions and you can score 20 on 20 in this module. So let's get started. So in the first part of the video, I'm starting with the literature review and technical reading. Here I'll be giving you the importance of technical reading, and then goals of the literature review, then the main important question, that is new and existing knowledge. So this has been asked in 4 papers, and then analysis and synthesis of the prior or bibliographic databases. Then comes Web of Science,